My father was a taxi driver. My dad had two brothers that drove cab before him. And ironically enough, my mother's father was also a taxi driver.
Always check under the seats. Maybe I could pay off my medallions or whatever I find.
My dad still drives, he's 80 years old. And I always say, cab driving is keeping him alive, but it's killing me.
I've been a member of the taxi industry for 34 years. I drove full-time for 31 years. The best part about driving a cab for me was knowing San Francisco well. When a passenger got in and told me 8 Loxley Avenue, I knew exactly how to get there. I knew the address quite well. And I would just tell my passenger, sure, I know where that is. I'll get you there in 15, 20 minutes. When I started driving a cab, it was early 1989. To get a medallion back then, you had to sign a waiting list. Those were the medallions issued through Proposition K that allows driving cab drivers only to hold medallions, not corporations. And when your name or number came up, they would issue you a medallion for a small annual fee. I signed the waiting list, and it took me about 15 and a half years to get my medallion. But then, in 2010, our municipal transportation agency, the MTA, changed the medallion system to monetize taxi permits, balance budget deficits, and supposedly improve service and meet the ever-growing demand. So in 2010, they brought forward the Medallion Sales Program. It's a program charging cab drivers $250,000 for the privilege of operating a taxi on our streets.
I think we're just gonna wait this out. This is kind of a blind spot. All right.
I purchased my medallion in 2010. So when they launched the Medallion Sales Program, was an opportunity to basically own my own business. It just kind of made sense for me. And I thought, no problem, I'll have this paid off, no problem. But the amount of interest paid has just killed me.
I got my medallion in 2014 with interest and fees, and after I've added up my payments, past, present, future, I'm paying approximately $128,000 over the $250,000. So by the time I'm done paying it, it's $378,000. The reason for getting the medallion at the time, it was a fairly simple equation. Your payments were approximately $2,000 a month. To make money, I would lease the medallion to the cab company, and the companies were giving anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a month. So it essentially paid for itself, and you had a job. I took my chances. It's been all downhill ever since.
The city of San Francisco promised us that the cost of the medallion was going to be very high, like up to $1 million, and it was going to be an excellent business. We were making a lot of money, so everybody got happy and everybody started buying the medallions. Everybody. I thought, it's gonna be my retirement, my American dream is gonna come true.
This was all happening at the same time that Uber and Lyft had launched their services and were growing their services. And the city wasn't really making any, great effort to regulate the rideshare companies or bring them into the fold of the existing transportation regulation.
In the beginning, it really felt like after all the years of heavy-duty taxi regulation, that they weren't possibly going to allow this to continue, that eventually it would be regulated or shut down, because Lord knows many people have tried to do similar things in the past and they shut them down immediately.
Uber and Lyft literally were allowed to roam our streets, providing taxi services without the very same medallions the MTA sold to balance their budget on cab drivers' backs. We are all driving for hire, but why is it that we have to comply with certain rules that they don't?
You're abiding by the rules, you're abiding by the regulations, they're enforced on you constantly. And to see these guys driving next to you in the lane who have no regulation, who have no enforcement, it's not an easy thing to deal with.
There's more regulations in California than any other state, and you're telling me you can't regulate Uber and Lyft? It just kills me to drive around and see Uber, Lyft, and all these other companies making money, and we're making nothing, and all we do is pay.
Instead of halting the Medallion Sales Program, the MTA pushed for more sales, and late in 2012, they permanently adopted the Medallion Sales Program.
The real emotion here is just flat out pissed off. They didn't need medallions, they didn't need commercial insurance. They were allowed to operate unlimited amount of vehicles.
It was unfair competition from the very beginning, and the taxi industry could not compete. Gradually, medallions lost value and the Medallion Sales Program crashed. The last medallion sold was in April of 2016, and cab drivers got trapped with unpayable loans, and the entire taxi industry has been held hostage since then.
Steadily, the payment from the cab companies went down. It went from $2,300 to $2,100 to $2,000 to $1,800 to $1,700. Then they dropped it down to $1,000. Now my loan is underwater instead of having an extra $150 approximately a month. From that to being in the hole, $1,100 to $1,200 a month on the medallion payment.
A lot of my friends are unhealthy, they're overworked, they are driving themselves to their graves to pay for a medallion that is almost worthless at the moment.
In order to pay for this medallion, you're driving 10, 12 hours a day, if not more sometimes. I'm about to be 49 in 6 months, and I'm hitting 70, 75 physically. And your nerves are shot, you're stressed out all the time. If I did not have this medallion loan payment, I wouldn't be driving anywhere close to the amount of hours. I probably wouldn't even be driving a cab at this point. I should let it go. I should have let it go a long time ago. My life would have been a lot better. So to some degree, I'm to blame for not letting it go. I should have just defaulted on the thing like the 300 other guys did and moved on with my life.
It's come to a point where you cannot generate money anymore because it's not out there. There is no more business. This medallion is zero, worthless. It has made my life a living hell, and I have no options. I don't know what else to do.
If I don't pay the money that I owe to the bank, they're gonna go through my house. That's why I'm very afraid of it, and I don't stop. So I go, no, I have to make an effort and to keep going. And I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I stop at like around 11:30 p.m., sometimes until midnight. I'm 65 years old, and I cannot retire. And I seen drivers, very old, they die driving because there is no solution for our problems. I'm living my dream, but it's a whole nightmare.
If you ask every medallion buyer out there still holding a medallion, what would you like the city to do? I would bet that 90% of them or more would say, I want the MTA to buy my medallion back. I want out of this business.
The ideal situation is just end the Medallion Sales Program, buy back all the medallions, and let us go on with our lives. Free us of this debt.
Other cities have settled out the medallion crisis. San Francisco give workers nothing. When did San Francisco lose compassion for people and families and the hard-working people of San Francisco? Just bail us out. Just give me my money and I'll go away.
It's okay to have Uber, it's okay to have Lyft, it's okay to have robo-taxis from multi-billion-dollar Waymo. But why is it we are the only ones paying to do that kind of business on the streets of San Francisco? You can tax them and pay for those medallions. So there's a lot the city can do, but there's no political will.
They give it to me right now, I give it a medallion right away. And I take away all the headache that I had. That's all we want. That's all we want.
I look at the Medallion Sales Program as a human tragedy that can only be blamed on the MTA and the city of San Francisco. The mayor's office supported Uber and Lyft and largely abandoned cab drivers who bought their medallions through the Medallion Sales Program.
I think the city acted in bad faith, either allowing the rideshare services to proliferate and not regulating them, or continuing the medallion program in light of the rideshare services proliferating. That's bullshit, and somebody's asleep at the wheel, or there's corruption.
This medallion sales program is probably one of the biggest money grabs San Francisco has ever had in the history, and it needs to be exposed.
In 2013, to celebrate Lyft's one-year anniversary, late Mayor Lee proclaimed July 13, 2013, Lyft Day in San Francisco. You're giving them a trophy for operating illegally for 1 year, while at the same time you charge those guys $250,000?
They knew it was on the horizon. They knew what was coming. They knew that the city was buckling to the pressure of the big tech. The fuck is wrong with you? Playing with people's lives, people's stability, people's future, people's health, people's families. What's wrong with you? You're fucking sick.
I was told, and I asked a particular person at the MTA, is this a good deal? 3 times he told me it's a great deal. He says, it's a no-lose. If the Medallion Sales Program fails, we're going to give you back your principal and issue you a free, untransferable medallion. Well, we're how many years later, we haven't sold a medallion. I'm still here, and all we get is delay, delay, delay.
It's just not fair. It's a moral issue that must be addressed. The taxi industry has been taken for a ride. Cab drivers demand justice, and justice can only be obtained when the city of San Francisco takes responsibility for its actions. We treasured the medallion system as our unofficial retirement pension, and now our dreams are shattered. There is no exit strategy for any medallion holder today. The MTA and the city of San Francisco shut them down. Our only choice is leave the industry losing money, pride, and dignity. We've been stripped of all that.
If I could go back to before I bought the medallion, I would say to myself, don't do it. Just don't do it.